welcome to the Vinyl Couch. We haven't done this in a while.
Oh.
We used to have a segment called the Vinyl Couch.
Okay.
But this is Jeremy. Jeremy, tell them about yourself.
I'm 36, formerly unemployed. I play bass with whoever will have me, but also in some cool local bands around Charlotte. I do a band called $1,000 Movie, which I'm super punk rock by wearing my own t-shirt. Yeah, right. I co-run a local Charlotte record label called Four Finger Records. And we, back when you could, we threw a lot of shows here and did a lot of cool merch. And been putting out a lot of tapes, which some people care about.
You sell them here at the shop?
Yeah, we do. Come get. There's like literally one up there.
Yeah.
Our first 7-inch is coming out in January, actually, though. A little compilation, so we're excited about that.
It's just sounds of me screaming.
Yeah, it's every time Dylan calls to lecture me because I did a bad job.
So basically, it's silent. The whole thing. I've never done that before. Jeremy works here at the shop. During the week, he's great. He does a great job. People like him. I like him. He's a good guy. But we get along very well, and I don't ever do videos on punk because I don't know a lot about it. And Jeremy, I think, judging from his tattoos, knows more than me about punk.
That's why I got them, so people would assume that at least.
I know about punk. Trust me. You don't even have to ask me. So we're going to do a couple segments about punk. So the first part's going to be like Proto-Punk, like what led up to punk, and then we're going to go to punk, and so then he's probably going to take over. He's going to be a little bit of my fact checker, and he's going to add a bunch of stuff to the punk and post-punk type stuff, because Proto-Punk I know a little bit about, but the thing about punk is everybody's got their own version of what happens.
Yes, absolutely. If I've heard someone say recently, if you want to not like something you like, then join a Facebook group on that. Yeah. Because people will ruin it for you. And punk is definitely one of those things, as is Star Wars and comic books, where the fans are kind of the worst part of it sometimes, sadly. Yeah. Not all of them, of course, but I joined one about punk flyers, and I was like, I like punk flyers. I want to see punk flyers all the time. Yeah. And every time someone posts one, it's like, this isn't punk. Like, you're not punk. I hate everything.
So there you go. Yeah, punk's strange that way. But we're going to dive into it. This is not an educational video, but if you learn something, that's okay. Yeah. We are just going to talk about it. Because a lot of people are asking for punk videos, and I never do one because I'm scared that all the punks are going to kill me. So.
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
So we're going to start with just what led up to punk, some of the essential things, which I think... it goes back to like rockabilly and it goes way back. I should have brought my Screaming Jay Hawkins record. It goes way back. Oh man! But where I think I see like the defining moment that led up to punk was like garage. Mm-hmm. So basically, in the mid '60s, you had the Beatles come out, and then you had all these bands that were doing all this like very produced type music that was meant to be welcomed and loved by the masses.
Sure.
And then you had these kids that didn't really know how to play guitar, and they were in bands, and they had a lot of passion.
Right.
And they wanted to start bands. So they wanted to put records out. And so they had a more raw sound with, the whole Link Ray Rumble generation of kids that learned and heard Rumble. They just went nuts on it. They loved it. And so one of the first is the Sonics. This is, here are the Sonics. This is 1965. What's the song on here? That's so good. There's one. I'll know it when I see it.
Yeah.
Psycho.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
That Psycho is a great song. That's what a lot of people will say is like a really early punk track. Yeah. So that's killer. And then
one of the first bands of note from Pacific Northwest too, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I know like a lot of the grunge bands and stuff over there were very much like Sonics, because it was like that was their hometown heroes. I think.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'll accept it.
Yeah, fact check it.
Sonics Boom, another killer one. Love it. I had to show it because I have it, so it's there. Another one that I was telling Jeremy as we were leading up to this, one of the ones that I absolutely love is the Monks, Black Monk Time. The one I think it's. Or it's I Hate You.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Oh my gosh. It's so good. Like, I remember the first time I heard this, I was going through the 1001 albums you must hear before you die. I don't know if you've ever seen that book. It's good. And this was in it, and I was listening. I was like, "What year is this?" It's like 1966.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, because "I Hate You" is just like it's such a punk rock song.
Right, and people weren't naming song titles, things like that in the '60s. It was all like,
they're like
Marshmallow Sunrise.
Marshmallow Sunrise. Grab my hand and lead me through the daisies. Type of, I don't know. I wasn't around, but that's from what I can tell. That's true. But this is a really cool band. Just really raw vocals and music. Great stuff. Another one, The Music Machine, Turn On. This is a great one. First one I found was at a garage sale, so that's why I call it a garage record.
Yeah.
Actually, it's got like a bunch of, as typical with garage music, it's like a ton of covers on it, you know.
Yeah.
But they would just take these covers and just strip them down and like just scream into a microphone and cut their amps to make them sound all fuzzy and yeah. But this is the first band that was ever called punk. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
This is question mark in the Mysterium.
I always thought that was one of the greatest band names of all time.
It is. And I always begs the question, where do you put it?
Right.
When you are alphabetizing, do you put it at the beginning because it's a question mark, or do you put it in the Q's? I put it in the Q's.
Yeah.
Because on the back it says question. But anyways, this is a great 96 Tears is an insanely good song.
It's amazing. It definitely bridges that gap where it's like super like organ driven, and it's almost poppy, but it's still dirty.
Yeah, for sure. This is a great one to have. And like I said, I think the press called this punk, and this is the first thing that anyone called punk.
Huh.
So, kind of interesting.
That is interesting. I'll fact check it. But...
Another one, you don't have to.
I'm just kidding.
It's factual. This is The Remains. This is another garage band that I absolutely love. Just really good. It's got that garage feel to it, but I think the guitars are really good. These guys know how to play their guitars as opposed to some other garage bands, really, really good stuff. And then one of the more popular one is The Seeds. They had a great lineup of albums, but this is probably their most known garage record. Really good stuff. Yeah. That's great. So then we're gonna go a little bit off the rails, and people might not agree with me here, but this is 13th Floor Elevator, Psychedelic Sounds. This is 1966. This is a very it was more psychedelic than the garage, so it's but it definitely has a lot of garage feel to it, a lot of really good hollering and screaming on it.
Right.
Someone plays the electric jug, for God's sakes.
I don't know why that didn't take on.
I don't know. That's what it sounds like. But anyway, really good stuff. I love this record to death, but I hear it in this record. I can hear where that raw emotion and screaming fun is coming from. Now, then we get over to these chaps. Mm-hmm. This is Velvet Underground, White Light, White Heat. This one you can definitely hear a lot of influence, a lot of things that influence punk, but also like a lot of the early punk bands were going around before they wrote their own songs. They were doing like a lot of Velvet Underground covers. They were doing a lot of Stooges covers, but we'll get to that. But this is definitely one that you can hear.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of early punk stuff on. This is on the Holy Moly Wall. I just snatched it off.
So all the New York artists also were musicians and just started like, let's just try to be weird or make dissonant sounds. And it kind of started at the avalanche a little quicker once they kind of jumped into the game, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
It was more like, we don't have to sound like the Beatles. We don't have to sound like music.
What I really liked about this one, like when I first time I heard it, was The Gift. A lot of people don't like that. I love it.
I love it.
It's this story that's great about this guy that's like in love with his girlfriend, and she moves off to college, and he decides to mail himself to her, which is always a great idea. That can never go wrong. Right. And somehow it horribly does go wrong. She kills him when she tries to open it with a giant knife. Spoiler alert. Anyways, it's a great. You have to hear them tell it, but that's a great song. And it's not really a song. It's them playing some weird music and this guy saying, "And I went to the river," you know.
Right. Yeah, they weren't afraid to just drone, which is interesting.
And then I had to show this.
Yeah.
Because every video I have to show this. I show this too much probably. But Velvet Underground Nico, this is such a good album.
I know.
This is the original. I found this on eBay for $15.
Right.
Someone said it was a reissue, but it's not. I saw that pink right there. And I was like, I know that's an original. And in the past like year, these have gone up crazy in value.
Right.
And then this is the non-airbrush cover.
Okay.
So that's got the Emerson back. So this actor basically, he saw that this is like they were playing like clips from movies and stuff behind their stage shows, and this guy saw that they had this picture on the back of him hanging upside down in the movie he had been in, and he tried to sue him and said the record company and all the future issues, they either put a big black sticker or airbrushed it. So that's one of the originals. This is really tough to find.
Lou Reed said around the time of that record, if you write a song, if it has more than 2 chords, it's not rock and roll, it's jazz. Which I thought was super rad.
That's good. I mean, if we're gonna go back to Velvet Underground, which why not?
Yeah. I'm Waiting for the Man is one of the best songs to come out of the New York scene, I think.
This album, Run Run Run's killer too. But Sunday Morning, I wouldn't call it a punk rock song.
No,
that's good.
But it's amazing.
It took me a while to get this record. Like the first time I heard it, I was like, I don't really get what's so great about that record. And then like the third time I heard it, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But man, it's amazing.
I think I got it in high school because I had some compilation or soundtrack and it had rock and roll on it. And I was like, oh, that song's pretty cool. And I don't feel like I got it until I was probably like closer to 30. And then it was like one of my favorites now.
It's, man, I want to listen to it now. I want to stop this video.
Let's shut it down.
How did this go? Here's how it went.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a long story. I'm going to try to put it in a nutshell. Elektra Records, they got flush with cash because of the Doors. They signed the Doors, and so they had like a ton of money, and they wanted to sign a bunch of other psych and psychedelic bands. There's a lot of stuff on Elektra that sucks. Like the late 60s, early 70s, like, I don't want to be negative, but they pick some stinkers.
Sure.
Basically, if you had 3 guitar strings and a pulse, Elektra was coming for you.
Right. I feel like it's happened a lot, but that was a time in the music industry where they didn't know what the heck the kids wanted, and so they're like, let's just throw everything at a wall and see what sticks.
There's a bunch of young people. Listen to this. Kick out the jams! Right. So, I say mother, father so I can retain my innocence, but that's not what this says.
No.
This says...
We'll bleep it out.
Yeah, we'll bleep it out. So this it's a fascinating story that I'll tell really quick. But Elektra came to good old Detroit to sign these guys, the MC5. The MC5 were a crazy good band, I think. Yeah. I've had this copy 3 times now. It keeps coming back to me. But this is an original uncensored version.
Oh, yeah.
So it's tough to find.
So did it come out the gate uncensored? Like, it had the F-bomb on it originally? Yeah, that's interesting.
That's
for a
the
major
TM label. A lot of them have the red label. But so it came out of the gate. They released only a handful that were uncensored.
Right.
And then I think they just bleeped. No. The second one they kind of mixed it differently to where it said, "Kick out the jams, brothers and sisters." So like every time I get one, I'll put it on and I'm like, please don't say brothers and sisters, please. Brothers and sisters, take them. You never hardly ever find them.
Right, yeah. That's awesome.
Dropping the F-bomb, but that's always what you hope for. And on the inner sleeve, there is it says it. And this copy that I have, the guy I got it from told me what happened, that his aunt's mom found this record and took an eraser and erased it out.
What?
And so then she went back and wrote it back. So that's that's why. But I sold this to a couple really close friends of mine, and I've said, if you ever get rid of this record, I want it back. Just because the guy I got it from was a good friend of mine, and it's come back to me twice, so no, I'm not going to sell it anymore.
Yeah.
But that's a really tough one to get. But this is just a fantastic record. If you the energy that's on this, like there's a lot of really good bands coming out of Detroit in the late 60s, early 70s. This is one. The MC5 were special. They had something special. It was just
some records are a great snapshot of musical history, other than on top of being a great record, and this is definitely one of those.
I don't know if you know that, but this guy right here in the blue shirt, he's the guy that edited this. He put himself on the that guy in the blue shirt. What a douche.
That's awesome.
So, anyways, so the next band, so Elektra was there, and they're like, anybody else got a pulse? And then we had these young chaps here, the Stooges. They were opening for MC5 that night, and so they signed both bands on the same night. Now, go ahead.
Well, their kind of A&R scout guy was a guy named Danny Fields, who managed. I think he may have got the Doors signed. I may be wrong about that, but definitely he was the one who found MC5 Stooges. Also went on the Ramones and a bunch of other bands. But he was there kind of like, well, we don't know what kids are buying. Maybe this Danny guy does. And so, yeah, he's like, you got to, I think Jim Morrison vouched for the Stooges too, maybe. But it was kind of the two of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting. I don't think, like, Iggy Pop was a freaking mess.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of the really iconic people like that are so off the rails. I mean, he was on some serious drug use.
Right, yeah.
But anyways, this is. I'll just show you for the record nerds out there that care.
Sure.
This is the first US.
Oh man,
look how clean that is.
That's amazing.
It's just beautiful. And this is so the original doesn't have the Stooges on the label at all. So that's that pressing. See, it usually says it right there.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's how you know you got a first. And so that's pretty tough to find. Again, those have gone up a lot in the recent years, and this is a really rare one. This is the first UK.
Oh man.
Which has that silver.
That's a beauty.
Silver label, but I mean this one's pretty sweet. Got that one from a friend of mine, and it was rare because it was coming over to the UK. It was a rare record over here, but anyways, and then you've got Funhouse.
I think it's one of the greatest albums of all time.
It is.
I love the self-titled of the first one. I love almost everything Iggy Pop's ever done. But this one, they accomplished the really difficult task of capturing what made them so great live on a record. And it's like hot nonsense. It's incredible. It's everything that's crazy about avant-garde jazz with like early punky rock and roll. And
did they record it like I'm telling tales out of school here, but didn't they record it like everybody on one track and then Iggy's vocals on another track or something weird?
It was
like
and the producer, I'm blanking on his name, he set him up because he wasn't feeling like he was getting the energy, so he set him up in a row facing him in the control booth like it was a show. And actually Iggy had a handheld mic and wasn't like, because he was like, it's not the same as it was live. So he tried his best to recreate it, and it actually immediately just, because of that room and the way they rearranged stuff, it sounded better too. So it's kind of a happy accident.
Yeah.
But he said he was like the suit, and they're just like aiming all this angry music just right at him while they're playing it.
Yeah, it's great. The first time I heard the Stooges, I was like, how have I never heard this before?
Right.
I was an adult at that time, and I was like, this is like really pure, raw music. And just riddled with drug problems.
Right.
And then this is original Iggy and The Stooges, Raw Power.
Another great, very different vibe, but very killer record.
This is one I found for $1. Not this copy, but I had one, and I was like, that's got to be good.
Right.
Just look at that cover. That's got to be something.
Right.
And that's not your Barbra Streisand. So the Stooges had such a raw energy, and there's really good. And me and Jeremy both listen to this podcast, No Dogs in Space.
Oh, yeah.
And I've learned pretty much everything I know about punk, which is not much, but has been from that podcast. It's really good. They go through like Stooges, Ramones, who else? Like Misfits.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one.
Cramps. Joy Division I'm on now. I haven't listened to all of them, but I'm on it. But they have like a 2 or 3 part episode on the Stooges, It's really good and informative and funny.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. There's this great documentary series. It came out like last year called just called Punk. I think it's on like Amazon or one of those things. But Iggy was like a executive producer of it, and it's each episode. It's kind of like right when that scene is kind of ending, and it's like, and what could happen next? And then it's like, boom, Ramones. You know, it's really cool. But the whole proto one with the Stooges and everything is really great. Watch too if you're into that.
They call Iggy the godfather of punk.
Yeah,
and I think that's astute. Also, you know, Iggy was good friends with Bowie.
Right.
Bowie, like the musical style didn't really influence punk as much as like just like the aesthetic and the attitude and all that stuff. But we're going to go into that in the next video. So if you like this video, the next one, Jeremy's going to be talking a lot more because he knows more on that stuff for sure. No, you know more than me. I'm not saying you know a lot, but you know more than me. I don't know how much he knows.
I know a good bit, actually.
This before. I think he knows a good bit. And so we're going to get deeper into, I can see some Ramones, and I know there's a Descendants 7-inch in there for some reason.
Yeah.
And then a Minor Threat, some stuff in there. So we're going to get into that on the next video. That'll be next week. We're doing this once a week.
Okay.
We're going to do it all right now.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
Gonna release it once
Illusion.
a week. So anyways, stay tuned. Check that video out. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button. It's right here. It's floating right here. And follow us on Instagram and follow Jeremy on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's Jeremy Radio. He's
That's it.
hilarious and he's awesome. He's really good at bass. And he has his hair like...
Yeah. Space Wizard.
Yeah, I guess.
I like Dinosaur Jr. I know you're going to say it.
Oh,